Alright, training time. We're doing fucking Go punishment tech. So we're going to go through a few different options in this video, just going over the different punishment tech that Go has, and we'll do a couple of option selects as well. The first punishment that you're probably going to want to know as a newer player is how to deal with backdashes, because most new players have no fucking clue how to deal with them. So we're going to go over a few different things. The most common time you're going to see someone try and do a backdash is after they do 2p and it gets blocked. They'll fucking want to backdash because they're a dickhead. If you wanted to test your backdash punishes in game, pick your character, whoever it's going to be. Obviously this is going to be for Go, and you're going to want the other character to be Sean. And there's a very, very good reason for this. In that when you're playing John, your 6p, if it's blocked, so let me just record a fucking move here. If I can remember how to record a move in. There we go. Okay. Just gonna play that back. That is about the distance after you block it that someone's gonna get after a backdash. So we want to know what we can do after that. So 4-6p is our first option. As you can see, 4-6p is one of his best tools for punishing backdashes. It's a 14 frame high, -5 on block, usually about -13 if it's evaded, so obviously kind of sucks if it gets evaded, but it is safe on block, and it does manage to reach after a move from Jean, which is what we want. It's about the same as a backdash. Obviously there's slight variation there, so it's not always going to reach, but it is a really good tool. If, for example, people are going a little bit further back, you can do buffer in a dash after the block to go for that 4-6p. That's if you've got like a hard read that they're going to fucking do it. Otherwise, just 4-6p is fine. So the next one is kind of the universal anti-backdash tech, which is 6p. Well, it used to be holding 6p, not elbow, just holding 6p. They changed how it works in this game. In that no longer do you just like fucking have to hold forward to do a walking forward punch. Now that's just what you get. You see how he's advancing when he does the standing P. Usually, or in Final Showdown, that didn't happen. He would just stay still. Obviously that's changed. So if someone does go with that, it's not an awful option. There are definitely worse options out there. That's one way you can go with it. The next one, and this again, this is a legacy from Final Showdown where this move wasn't so slightly fucked on block, is 3kp. I love this move. I think it's great, but they have watered it down a bit. Obviously, if that's counter hit, even better, because you will get a full combo from the follow-up. As it stands, it's not too bad, but it is now -13 on that last hit, so if that does get blocked, they can PK punish you, which we'll go over in a minute. And then we got one more option, which is our, well, we got two more options. We got our 6-6k, which still isn't that bad. The fact that we get a combo off normal hit is great. It's just very punishable, is the only problem, which I don't particularly like. Our other option there is our 3-3p. And honestly, I actually really like this as a move for catching backdashes. It covers a lot of distance, you get a good combo off it. And you can also go for multiple like Oki options depending on the end you use for the combo. Another good one is that 6-6p plus G. A lot of the time, you will need to buffer in a dash beforehand to catch the backdash, so it does tend to do much closer ranges. In general, I'd stick to doing our 3-3p and our 4-6p. That's our backdash bonuses. So, outside of those, what else do we want to do? So, being -10 is obviously a big one. If, you know, someone's -10 and you want to punish them, throw. All Ghost throws are -10. They can obviously still break it, but that is your -10 punish with every character in the game, not just Go. Next option comes at +12, sorry, which is our PK option. So you can do just standard PK, or you can do PK4. That'll lead you to this back turn stance. You can start doing weird shit after. It'll leave you +4 when you're back turn, like that. He does have some like interesting back turn options, but I'm not the biggest fan. So that 2p follow-up from the backdash, it is 14 frames, but it can't be interrupted. Sorry, but it can be backdashed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'd probably just try and go safe with our standard PK. Leave you +1. It's pretty alright. So we don't have a 13 frame Punisher, but we do have a 14 frame, which is what we used before in that 4.6p. That's what you want to be going for. At +17, we're going to use 4K P plus G. So it's technically less damage than 4.6p, but it does give you a hard knockdown. And they are going to be stuck there. There's no way out of that. Whereas if we do this, they can tech roll. So it depends what you want to go for your Oki pressure. If someone is, I don't know, tech rolling all the time, allowing me to get meaties, then I'm obviously going to take the 4.6p option. If not, they're just going to stand down. That one can be useful. Obviously, I don't want to be carrying myself too far. Depends on, you know, ring position, that kind of shit. Then we got our -19 option, which is our +19, sorry, which is our 1p plus K. Big fuck off launcher, lots of damage. Coincidentally, this is your launcher usually from your low Sabaki as well. Good shit to have. And then lastly, it's our +22 frames. It's our 4p plus K. There's a reason that we use this instead of 1p plus K, because I know 1p plus K is more damage. But the main issue you have is it doesn't have as much reach. Sometimes when you're doing a low spec against stuff, this 1p plus K will whiff, which is not ideal. Say we're trying to punish something like Jackie's somersault kick, 1p plus K would whiff, so we'd be using this 4p plus K. Moving on, so that's our standing punishment. We're now going to take a quick look at our crouching punishment. So let me just set the CPU here. Crouch him. So obviously our +10 option is low throw. Go has 3 low throws, so that's a 3p plus G. That's our 1p plus G, and most importantly is our 2p plus G, which enters us into Tsukami. As you most likely know, we have 3 options from here. We can do neutral, which I just did before. This is our forward option. Or we can go backwards. Now, this one can be risky, because while you'll get that initial damage of 25, they can still break the follow-up. And you might want to be going for a bit more guaranteed damage. So we take the 55 there, potentially. And obviously, that gives us a lot of Oki setups, because their position, you know, their head up, face up, feet, head towards, which does make a big difference, I promise. Our +12 option, well, we can't do PK, because look, it whiffs. That's bad. So we use 2p. Leaves us +4 on normal hit. It's fine. It's fine. It's 2p. You will know how to use this button. If we're at +14, we're going to elbow. Look, +7. Exactly what we want. Now they're in Itaku. We get to play our guessing games. Problem solved. Now, +15, we have 3pp. Now, I see a lot of fucking new Go players going online and just doing this all day. They are spamming this button as hard as they can. Don't do that. Really, really don't. I'll show you a cool option select with it in a bit, but not even option select, but smart thing to do. But yeah, that's your +15 one here. Does give an off the ground option. It used to. If the opponent doesn't tech, or they do tech, sorry, you can do that full charged. 4p plus K after. That's good Oki pressure for it. It's useful. Your next one is +16. So, funnily enough, when your opponent is crouching, we do have more punishment options, but they tend to be worse in general. Because our +16 is shoulder. Now, this stagger can be broken. It's not even that hard to break, if I'm being honest with you. So we put this to normal. See, even on standard, the CPU breaks it before we can get that. We can still get PK, but equally, a lot of the time, the better players are going to be staggering much faster than the standard stagger. And if they went to crouch again, we get punished. So, nothing's guaranteed after it. Honestly, I'd do 3 PP if I was plus 16. I think it is a better option for that situation. And then plus 17 is our 4K P plus G. Now, you want to time the P plus G input. I'll change me display setting now. So you can see, you need that P plus G input when it hits. Some people tend to struggle with that. And then plus 19, funnily enough, is our 1P plus K. Now, as you can see, that combo that I did before when they're standing doesn't work. It doesn't float them anywhere near as high. So we need to get a bit more creative with it. Against some of the lighter characters, you might still be able to get that 6P plus K and get them to bounce off the floor. But in general, it's not going to happen. So we can just stick with a standard combo there. So, nice and simple. Very, very easy. I did say I was going to show you some cool tech. So, and this is a really difficult one to show because of how the game fucking works. But you know, we're talking about 3P there. If someone is stand blocking, let's change him to standing, and he's going to... Honestly, I want him to block and then crouch, which is really fucking frustrating. Because I can't make him do it. Well, let's assume, for the sake of argument, that man is going to block and then crouch. Because if you condition an opponent to think you're going to just do 3PP all day, every day, like every single go online, then if they're a decent player, they're likely going to crouch second. If you know that they're going to do that, just do low throw. It's great. The amount of times I'll throw out 3P, he'll get blocked, and I'll go for low throw, I'll get him in the Shikami mix-up. Loads of extra damage. It's fairly safe. They can, you know, knock you out of it because it's reverse and attack at that point. But at least it's hit checking. What other options can we use? So the next one we are going to look at is low rising. How do we do a low rising? 1P plus K would be, sorry, 9P plus K would be my favorite option for it, to be honest with you. You know, you can do all these on reaction, which is great. Once you knock people down, you see it's coming. No chance in hell. You can get the shoulder. The shoulder is guaranteed against everyone here, so don't worry about that. You can get some extra weird shit if you're really lucky. So say they don't tech, for example. Maybe dash in and get the low throw as well. Not guaranteed in the last hit, but it's worth using. There is another option to punish low rising, and I don't use this because that happens. It does lead into Tsukami, potentially, and you can get a big fucking chunk of damage out of it. However, you have to be much more careful about the distance and the timing. So that's our descending P. You can use, the rising P as well. Which again knocks him on the floor. You get that punish there. That was 55 damage. Oh, we take 46 there. Sometimes it jumps over them, which is the reason I don't like to use it. And they can break the throw on the bottom. But otherwise, not too bad. One thing you may find when you're against lower level players who are spamming 2P a lot, which does happen. Let's go to, we want a normal hit, so he is going to block and 2P. This is what our low spec is for. Some people, they like the moment they think it's their turn, they go for 2P. I'm guilty of it at times as well, but the moment we see them do it, it's 2P plus K plus G. It's our low spacky. It's awesome. Now, the one fucky thing with it is that range affects it. So see how a difference in frames there. So that's plus 18 because we're right next to him, which is great. Sorry, getting this to be anything other is a pain. The later we do it, the better frames we're going to get. But it does make a difference on range, which unfortunately makes it a bit less consistent than, say, our Mitsubaki, which obviously we just go in Tsukami from. One other option you can do, and again I wouldn't recommend this particularly, BR3KP is an option out of there, or R3PP. So if you are struggling with the distance on that, instead of going for your big launcher and getting yourself punished, go for that 3PP. It works. It does the job okay. Anything else? Okay, so there's one last thing we're going to do. So we did look at the low rising before. Now we are going to look at the mid rising attack. We do not want random. Okay. So depending on the character and the character's position, you can Sabaki the mid rising with your 4-6K. So there are 3 positions where the opponent's mid kick is likely to be linear or half circular. So that's if they're face up, head towards. So if you look here, his face is up, head towards. Face down, feet towards. Let's see if I can remember a starter that's going to do that. No, that's not it. Obviously we can see that that's full circular. I can't do anything about that. No, those are the 3 positions anyway. You'll learn this as you play the game or when you get used to different situations and different combo finishes. A lot of the time, I like to finish this with the 6P, but you could change your combo ender to change the position that they're rising. Just didn't have enough time. It depends on the character. But yeah, if they are in those positions, then you can make full use of your 4-6K to spec him. This is particularly good against certain characters. Obviously, against someone like Taka, who uses punches, we just use our standard Sabaki. What is our other option? So, we can do another quick option select here. So we're going to set their response to be to guess between a throw and a mid. So this is a really good training situation. So this is an option select between our 4P plus K plus G and obviously not that, but the throw Sabaki. So we're going to put ourselves -10 in that situation. So you're not always going to get the timing for the throw Sabaki, but the point is, if you input the 4P plus K plus G and you do it on the right frame, it will Sabaki the throw if it's a throw. If it's a mid, you will Sabaki the mid. There's the mid being Sabaki'd. There's the mids being Sabaki'd. Good God. And there's the throw being Sabaki'd. So that is a great option select, and this is one of the big issues I had with the changes to making this -13 on block, is Go's toolkit being -10 on block is great if you have this option select down. It forces your opponent to start looking at using different moves. Maybe they've got to use a knee instead of a punch, but most people, they're going to see that you're -10, they're going to try and punish with something like PK, or they're going to try and punch you with a throw. So if you're able at -10 to make them have to choose a completely shit option, all the better. And this will like power you up a significant amount, is that every time. And you can also, you'll notice in the inputs, I'm also buffering in a throw escape afterwards, which is useful to have because the throw input will go from our Tsukami into the actual throw. And if we miss the throw Sabaki, which does happen, then we'll be safe and at least have a chance of breaking the throw. Yeah, that's a couple of option selects, some punishment for you. Super basic shit. Obviously, I'm leaving this raw as fuck. If you want more videos, put in the comment what kind of shit you want to cover. I don't know. I haven't, you know, had to learn Go in a very, very long time. I don't know what new players are looking for. If I can make it, I'll do it. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch you later.